Alberto,
Hello, Vikram. How are you today?
very good. So we can actually start now because we are live on social media and also. So thank you very much
Okay,
for coming in.
okay.
And if you just want to, Alberto, just talk about yourself first, and then we'll move into the topic, please.
Okay, well, good morning. At least good morning for me. I'm broadcasting here from Argentina, South America, a little bit far from India. But anyway, I'm appreciate the Vikram invitation to talk a little bit about the future of mediation, which is basically uh, my main area of research and activities. I would like to share some slides with the audience, just showing what was our path in order to talk about online dispute resolution and basically comparing the situation in Latin America with countries like India, which both has an important level of poverty. We are using here um, online mediation in order to try to close the digital divide.
Yeah.
I'm going to show some examples and the way that we reach this.
So
I
Alberto,
was having, sorry.
so what I was thinking was, let me just share the slide that what we are doing today. I just want to put that out. So basically, this is part of my Mediation Vision 2026 on the
Okay,
evolution of mediators and mediation. So Alberto is today talking about his vision for online mediation, because I am concentrating on mediation. So out of the entire online dispute resolution, so I would prefer that we can talk about online mediation as a specific thing. And Alberto, of course, is going to tell us about himself. So this is, I put out some points on my website, mediatorvikram.com, on topics that we will discuss. So online mediation definitely is one of them. So we'll have discussions on a lot of these topics. So that is what I just wanted to put out. Yes, Alberto, please.
okay, excellent. Um, Last night I have a problem with my slides because they were stuck. Please tell me if I'm not moving ahead, okay?
Okay.
Now we have the slide of ODR Latin America, which for the people or for the colleagues who don't know exactly what's the meaning of ODR, means online dispute resolution. We articulate new technology of information and communication with conflict resolution. And we are not talking only about online mediation. We are talking in general, could be online negotiation, online conciliation, because in South America we have conciliation, we have also facilitation and mediation. We have four kind of, let's say, peace build action possible, okay? Negotiation, mediation, conciliation, and facilitation as a non-adversarial methods. But now I'm showing a slide with the Jetsons. Are you seeing this
Yeah, yeah.
slide, Vikram? Okay,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is in Spanish. It's called Los Supersónicos. It was a family in the year 1962 with a cartoon from Hanna-Barbera. And as you can see, 28 years before the year 2000, they have been dreaming about online classes, about home office, about video calls, about masks, and about video consulting. I'm sorry, this is in Spanish, but the idea and the picture, I think it's eloquent. That was some people 50 years ago talking about what going to be happen today, or at least what was the situation that it was pushed by pandemia. Okay, because as a consequence of the pandemia, most of mediators, in order to eat or to make money, jump into the online mediation, because basically 90% of the mediators before the pandemia didn't want to mediate online. And today, and I have been working in this for more than 15 years. And I could tell you that more than 10 years, nobody wants to listen to me, even in my university. Nobody believed that there was a possibility to mediate online, but I could provide to you an example. If I said, hello, Vikram, I'm very happy today to be here. Or I said, hello, Vikram, I'm happy to be here today. Of course, you don't have the 100% of my, I'm sorry, my dog is barking because the bell is ringing. One minute.
Yeah.
This is the benefit of the home office. I'm very sorry.
No, this is ideal. This is the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Yeah.
Well, basically, then the idea is, I was forbidden in my university to talk about online mediation. Okay, forbidden, because they say that I was absolutely crazy. Anyway, today we have a different situation, but talking about the year 2026, which was the Vikram idea, what's going to happen in 4 years, 5 years, we have to talk about the Gaffa wars, because we are involved in Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, plus end of Netflix and the end of Microsoft. Basically, we are talking now in our research about the 10 potential future GAFA wars, and how our life as a human beings and as mediator or peace builders or conflict resolution operator will develop. And now we are facing a cannibalization process. The online mediation is eating the face-to-face mediation. But eating for two reasons. First of all, because we have more and more digital natives. They don't want to go 1 hour driving from one point of the city to other point of the city in order to have a mediation. And also because talking about, let's say, blue collars, if you have to go to other city to have a mediation and you lose your working day, your salary, you have to pay your bus or airplane or train, they will prefer keeping their city and do an online mediation. It's also a marketing issue. Mediators should understand the way that the technology is dancing around the conflict resolution in order to be prepared for the near future. But we have an additional element, the VUCA wars, okay? We are talking about complexity, volatility, ambiguity, and uncertainty. And we have now two wars merging together because, of course, we have a war in Ukraine, okay? We have volatility, we have uncertainty. So we have to deal with those wars. The future, it's coming with a day-to-day change in technology. The technology is getting more and more cheap, and there are more and more competition, okay? And we have, today I'm sure we have more than 500 startups around the world trying to make money out of providing specific service for conflict resolution. In fact, in India, you had CREC in the past that now will be launched a new platform by Colin Rule and Chitu Nagarajan. I read the other day, other startup gets, I don't know, $300 million or something like that with legal issues. But we, in here, you can see a picture of myself with the Minister of Justice. We said under Ministerial Decree 118, you are able to see this slide?
Yeah.
Vikram? Yeah. Okay. We start our pilot online mediation plan in the north of our country in year 2012. mediation online with, it was called co-mediation online. One mediator in one public mediation service sitting together with party one, and one mediator in other mediation center belonging to the government sitting together with party two. In the year 2012, we used this one in order to validate identity, because at that time we didn't have any element to validate that John is John and Mary is Mary. And also, the other issue was to keep the agreement signed by hand for one party, to put it in an envelope and send it by mail to the other mediation center and receive the other agreement, okay, by mail. That's the way that we started. It was a tremendous success. But with co-mediator and the technology in the office of the government, where the parties walk in a near office in order to have the mediation. But now we are pushing ODR in order to bridge social inclusion. We promote that the technology should be facilitated to people who don't have technology on that, or they don't have the knowledge to handle technology. And this is our responsibility. Of course, I already said about the advantage, convenience, time, place, fast, economic, and the disadvantage. Certain degree of informatics knowledge, equipment, antivirus, training, the communication are not face-to-face, and of course, all the world needs updates in legislation, which is not the problem that there are no technology. The problem is that there are no mentality in the politicians and in the court in order to push this quickly, to facilitate access to justice. There is a Spanish author, the name is Antonio Machado, has said, all that is ignored will be despised. And this is the issue. Basically, mediators say, no, I don't want it. You know the way that you can use it? No, I don't care. And what I'm told to my students, we trained more than 3,000 mediators in the last 2 years. You should knowledge, and after that, you as mediator decided if you use online mediation or not. But your responsibility is understand the technology required in order to do this, and of course the way to handle emotion in virtual environments. As the joke that I did before about the way that I sit down. I basically talking about real examples, okay? The idea of a humble person who approach to a mediation office in the neighborhood with the necessary equipment to perform online mediation. But the lockdown, because of the COVID, changed dramatically the situation.
But Alberto, did you miss one slide?
No, I just jumped it because in order not to.
Look, it's all important. I'm telling you, don't rush it, because I'm telling you what you're saying is so relevant. Take us through that. It's very important.
Okay, well.
Yeah, take your time.
I go back. No, yes. I don't want to boring.
No, it's not boring. I'm telling you, it's very relevant. It's very, very relevant. We need to discuss this, and your experience with it is very useful.
Okay, well, I slow down my my presentation. We are working in a way of talking about human rights, okay? Because internet should be a human right today, okay? Why? Because through internet, the governments are able to facilitate access to justice, okay? And perhaps if you are living far away from a city, before, another time you didn't have the possibility to walk to a mediation office. But today, with the online technology, we have the possibility to reach at least 80% of the world population. Because if you have more than 7,000 billions of inhabitants in the world, I'm sure 80% at least has a cell phone. Even in Ukraine, during the war, we have the possibility to watch the war in real time because there is a internet and a cell phone. And if in this war situation, you have the possibility to see the rocket just in an explosion in a minute, how can it be possible to do mediation online? Even though if you use a platform, a dating platform in order to get a fiancé, okay, and if you could get in love through an application, how you cannot understand that you could build peace through an application and to solve conflicts? Huh? Some people get married because of an application or because Facebook or, well, I already showed this example, and just what we did in Latin America, we train in Mexico, we train in Brazil. In Brazil is very interesting. The mediation law from Brazil year 2015, in the last article, allows online mediation for a party living abroad if the party living abroad accepts the mediation Brazilian law. I was advisor in order to work with this mediation law because the, let's say, most relevant, the person from the Supreme Court in charge of promote the mediation in Brazil was my student at my university in Argentina, because most of the Brazilian judges and mediators came to Argentina in order to be trained in mediation in general, because we have a mediation law from 30 years ago, 30, which is a long time to have, let's say, a mediation structure. I'm talking about the so-called compulsory mediation, okay? Before to initiate a suit case, you have to go through compulsory mediation first, at least to say, no, I don't want a mediation, but it's your obligation to attend the mediation session required for a mediator. As I told before, we worked with one province in the north of our country in the year 2012, and the Minister of Justice create a special regulation, which was number 118. I show this just as an example that is a political decision, allow or not to jump into this. It's not so complicated. It's just to say, okay, if you go through mediation online, you have to do this, this, and this, and we in the court will accept it. Anyway, you are having from a group of practitioners in India, I received 1 month ago a tremendous project of online dispute resolution, and I'm sure you will evolve very, very well. What I'm talking now is more about the practice and the ways to do it more than the legislation. We did it in another province in Córdoba. We did it several pilot projects. Supreme Court in Mendoza, the government of the Buenos Aires city, etc., etc. Our most important online program was launched in year 2017, 2017, with the government of the Buenos Aires, which is our, let's say, capital, the most important city that we have in the country. It's a city with 3 million inhabitants plus 15 million which walk in every day for job, for medical attention, etc. Of course, compared with other countries, this is a very small number, but our country, we have 45 million inhabitants, Vikram, we cannot compare with India. Absolutely, I realize that. But could be an example. As you can see here, we have several doors, okay? We have like a multi-door access in order to solve conflict. You first go to the government, to the city hall, and they say, I have this problem, okay. Go through this door could be, let's say, arbitration, consumer issues, domestic violence, etc., or mediation. Mediation, the name of the program is MEL, Mediación en línea, online mediation. That's the name of the program. And the day when I was walking through the city hall in order to sign the agreement to train all the mediator and facilitate the software, I saw one man begging in the street. And in one moment he stopped begging and he took his cell phone. He was answering some WhatsApp. He left the cell phone again and continued begging. And I get with the idea of a cyber homeless, okay? A person, if he don't have a house, but he has a cell phone, he has a link with the government. He has a link with the health. He has a link with a conflict situation. He could receive information about a place where he could live at night if he don't have a house. I think that the idea of use technology in order to integrate excluded people, it's a very cheap possibility to reassure the relationship with people which is not included in the system. I'm going to show now a slide with the way we have 4 ways to provide to the citizens mediation. One is the traditional face-to-face mediation system. Of course, there's nothing new under the sun. The second one is all the participants are online, okay? Party 1, party 2, and mediator. The third one is one party, a homeless, a person with no sources in order to have technology, walk to the mediation center and sit together with the mediator. The mediator handles the technology, and the other party, it's online. Basically, of course, this draw, it was very, very criticized for mediators, that they say that there are no balance in a situation when one party is together with the mediator and the other is alone. But we promote this because we have a lot of situation with people living in apartments or small houses in Buenos Aires City with problems with the owners living in Europe, Spain, France. And of course, the owner didn't want to pay an air ticket to come to the Buenos Aires City to have a face-to-face mediation, but they accept this situation where he is alone and the mediator is one with the party. And the first online mediation that we did in year 2017 were in this way: people in Europe with people in Buenos Aires. And the last model that we have is if the parties has the possibility to sit down together because they don't will be fighting or shouting, but they don't have the technology, that they sit down with the teach operator in one mediation center, and the one who is online is the mediator. Those are our 4 programs. If you allow me, Vikram, I'd like to show a short video. This video, I'm sorry, is in Spanish with the music, with the tango, but I think that will be important that the audience see the way that the government promote online mediation as a public policy, because the cost of being involved in this community mediation is today, I don't know, $3, let's say $2. It's just nothing, peanuts. Okay, I will
But
I
you will
will wait
translate.
1 minute.
Alberto,
Okay.
you will translate for us. You will translate the video.
No, because I would like you to listen the music.
Yeah. No, we'll
and
watch
I
that.
will.
You'll translate
Okay.
it later for us.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, basically, the idea is I want to show you that it's let's say a funny way to present with some small figures or avatars the possibility to do the mediation. If you are abroad of the city, helping with the government, the idea of the cell phone is if you have technical issues, the people from the support or the help desk of the government be in contact with you in order to facilitate your connection, etc., etc. Which for me is important from the image is the way that the government decided to show to the population that they have a possibility with the online mediation. The very important issue here, talking about figures, is because we launched with ODR Latin America this Program Jan 1st, 2017, at the beginning, only the 30% of the mediation out of 20,000 were made online. But when the pandemic arose, they just click and move all the mediation to online because they were prepared. Anticipation. Okay, they didn't suffer any problem. And of course, they get a lot of reputation with the population because they were able to provide a service already tested. Why? Because in 2017, the technology like Zoom, Zamba, Click Meeting, Teams, etc., were ready. Now we are facing other situation, which is the situation that the Zoom was. Now what is happening is we are just, let's say, in our next online dispute resolution technology congress in April, we will present more than 15 software to do mediation or arbitration online. New projects, new products, a full project, okay? Because in a mediation, if you are using Zoom, you need one process in order to communicate, indicate, get the files, etc. Then you jump into Zoom, and in the other hand, you go to a, let's say, a digital sign, an electronic signature, whatever. But now we will be launching one platform from Argentina, for example, one among the other 14, which is full. It started with the face recognition and ends with the electronic signature. It's a full process for the mediator in only one app. And it will cost the same monthly cost as Zoom. That was our objective, okay? Now, instead of have a Zoom for $15, we will have a full mediation platform for the same $15.
Great. Yep. So you're doing a lot of work on this. That's good.
Okay. Next, we have a degree in conflict resolution and new technology at the university. I'm the director of this program. Is conflict resolution and new technology in 2 universities in my country. It lasts 1 year training. That's to show you that be an ODR expert is not 20 hours of training. It's a full 8 months of training, starting with leveling and technological integration. Because you have mediators under 40 without experience, but with technological knowledge, and we have very experienced mediators without technological knowledge. You have to join them, get a common glossary of cyber mediation, and after that, start training in all the possibility, role-playing, different software, different legislation around the world, because now we will become worldwide mediators. And in order to be a worldwide mediator, where you have the market is all the world for you, and you need only 100 customers. You don't need millions of customers. You have 100 customers per month, you are fine. Okay, which is the way to get 100 customers out of 7,000 billions? Well, what kind of service do you provide? What's your expertise? And the way that you build your digital reputation. The name of the program is called Cross-Graduate Studies in Conflict Resolution and New Technologies, okay? And we are teaching this as from 5 years. That's why we are very, very ahead in people who already know what's the meaning of Mediate Online. Well, this is the presentation of our next online conference in April. Disruptive technology for conflict resolution, digitally transforming mediation.
Oh, you're actually not on the slide.
Sorry,
Alberto, you're not on the slide. You're on your video paused. So should I stop this video?
See,
You're sharing the screen of your video right now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Apologize. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Okay, so that means you were taking us through some slides before that. So we missed
No,
those
no, no.
slides.
What's my problem? Okay.
So what you can do is when you share the slides, just take us back to the point where, yes, yeah, here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are seeing this is
Yes.
information regarding our postgraduate program. This
What
the
is that?
name of
What is that? UNTREF? What is UNTREF?
UNTREF means National University of February the 3rd. It was the date of a battle before our constitution. Okay, UNTREF means it's a public, free university. You could go to the university. We have a network of national universities in our country, and all the citizens, if they have the qualifications, are allowed to go to the university and get their degree free.
Okay. And this is by distance education. People can from
In
anywhere.
this case, is the program of new technology applied by conflict resolution is a postgraduate program because we have a degree which lasts 3 years in conflict resolution and mediation, just conflict resolution and mediation in general. Okay, we teach negotiation, mediation, conflict theory, creativity theory, restorative justice, well, all the issues. We have 24 subjects only regarding mediation, and one of the subjects was accepted by the education minister last year is ODR, and I'm the teacher of the ODR subject in the regular degree on mediation and conflict resolution. When you finish this, or if you are a lawyer, a CPA, an engineer, a doctor, you could study this postgraduate program where I'm the director in a new technology applied to conflict resolution.
But is this all taught? All this is taught in Spanish, or is it English also?
No, all of this is in Spanish. We don't have enough interest in other countries in order to learn in English.
But Alberto, your experience, all that expertise, everyone in the world should benefit from, not only the Spanish-speaking world.
But we belong to a developing country. You know the problem among the developing country and developed country. They think that we cannot teach anyone, and we have to be in our garden teaching, let's say, the Spanish-speaking people. Anyway, in Latin America, we have 600 million inhabitants. 200 speak Portuguese. You have been inviting several times Gabriela Smart. He was a student from my wife. My wife is one of the most important mediators in Latin America and the world. And he was teaching most of the mediators in the region because she's the director of the regular degree program in conflict resolution. Okay, I'm just a teacher. She's my boss at this university, but we are teaching this program in other universities. Well, now you are able to see ODR exportation.
Yep.
Okay, this program, this is the conference that we will run in April, just exclusive regarding ODR. Okay, we will have 6 presentations belonging to 6 ministers of justice of different provinces of our country, sharing practical experience in online mediation under their regulations. We will have 120 video presentations. I'm waiting for yours. I send you several messages and you never answer me. And we will have 6 debate panels because I'm absolutely fed up of conference where the participants are not able to make a single question. That's why we generate 6 debate panels where the participants will be able to talk with the presenters just in a free conversation. That's the idea of and also we will present these 15 technologies. The technology that we are launching now, the name is ODIS, Online Dispute Solution. This is the software that I just told you. And well, that's it.
No, Alberto, is not it. We'll go back and then you will elaborate on what work you've done. Right now, you've taken us through the highlights, all that social inclusion, your community work. You have to give us the actual more details on how it happened, because all over the world, they need to understand you've done so much work on that. And that is one way we have to take mediation around the world, to every corner of the world. So,
well, ask me and I'm going to answer.
That's why you'll have to go up on the slides first. But tell me, Alberto, before I'll tell you what, I'll stop this right now. We'll start your slideshow again. On first thing is that in terms of internet connectivity, what all are you seeing in terms of technology developing there? How are we going to reach that one remote corner of the world? What all are you seeing in terms of satellite connectivity? What is the bandwidth that you are getting? Have you been looking at that?
Okay. When I started this, I ran the first conference about online dispute resolution in Buenos Aires in Argentina, year 2010. Mm-hmm. It was a great success. It was on site, 500 people attend, and the question were basically 20 years ago, 10 years ago, the question was the same: bandwidth problem, confidentiality, etc., etc. Regarding confidentiality, if it is possible to hack the CIA, it's possible to hack a conference room. What I said? No, it's impossible. We will try to use basically a browser platform instead of this one, for example, Zoom. Why? Because Zooms should be downloaded in your computer the first time and the actualization. That's why Zoom works well, because they have the codes in your computer. You download a small program. If you use a browser access, the parties don't have to download nothing on their computers. Of course, we continue with the problem that the parties should leave their email address, which is, I'm ashamed of that, because it's responsibility of the government to keep the data of their citizens, no Mr. Zoom owner, Mr. Team owner, Mr. Click Meeting owner, Mr. WebEx owner. And nobody realized this, because the politicians or the judges said, oh, fantastic, you are a mediator. You came with your mediation room in your backpack. And it's not my responsibility of being a mediator to carry the software in my packet buying for me. No, you, Mr. Kurt, Mr. Tribunal, you have to have your mediation, your online mediation system, and you have to give it to me, my username, my password, and your responsibility is keep the data of the citizens. This is the worst situation that we are facing in the world with online mediation. And also, a lot of entrepreneurs are trying to sell systems to the public. But you are in the same situation, because if you are using a private software in order to run mediation, the data of the parties will be in a server belonging to a person who nothing have to do with the mediation. Why am I saying this? Because you as an online mediation has a liability or a contingency liability. If you have a contingency liability, at least in your open speech, you have to say, okay, so you are going to a platform, let's say Zoom, where you will leave your data, and this data will be in the hands of the owner of Zoom. first, and nobody's saying this. The parties, they don't have to understand, they don't know why. I'm not saying, I don't have any specific issue with Zoom. I'm saying in general, the situation is in each platform. I'm sure, Vikram, you are an expert. They are putting their, you happily put your name, your address, blah, blah. And this for me is the worst situation. But we have to understand, that's why I'm member of the board of the International Council for Online Dispute Resolution. I'm the first Latin American member. This organization was born in the National Center for Technology Applied for Conflict Resolution of Massachusetts. I'm sure you already have Colin, my friend, Colin Rule. Okay, we have been working from more than 15 years together. That's why we decided to generate, let's say, an online mediator code, and ethical actions should be done in the mediation. If I have now something standing here, you don't see if you have someone standing here. But people talk about what happened with the information, with the data. That's why what I showed that the government one, where they keep the data in the government server. Same could happen in a physical court. You can install a file with the documents. The issue is the responsibility of the parties, the responsibility of the mediator, if they keep the confidentiality, if they broke the because the confidentiality is only one, online or on-site. They are no different. If you're a good person, you are a good person online and on-site. They are no different. I'm not good online and bad on-site. No, it's one attitude. Okay. And regarding bandwidth, it's an issue. We have been here. I trained for Mexico. There is an organization supported by USA. They have community mediator without any technology and in an area plenty of narcos. We train them in order to mediate just with the phone and the data if they have. If they don't have, there are no mediation. Because we are facing the so-called Uberization of the conflict resolution. Conflict resolution in the near future, and sure in 2026, will be run here, like you are requesting in Uber. If your technology is not the easy access here, or you cannot read it just directly to the phone, you are old. More and more, okay, they are here, an Apple, okay, whatever, not a laptop. Because if you are in your workplace and you have to attend a mediation, okay, you should be able to do it by your mobile phone. And this is the way that we have to do. Of course, online mediation is not the panacea, okay? It's better to shake hands, okay, not shake hands, at least touch hands, okay, to give a hug. But possible, it's against the excellence. We have a lot of cases of minors abductions. Do it by cell phone or an online mediation. We have a lot of issues regarding domestic violence, where we have people, wife and husband, living in the same city, where we invite just for online mediation in order to avoid the physical presence, okay? We have to use creativity. Basically, we have to be open, all the time open for new ideas, and not to censor it before. And now we are. Yesterday, I published in my networks a company working with holograms. I'm sure for year 2026 we will have this hybrid mediation with someone in the mediator's office and someone bringing through an hologram. And there you will have the full physical gesture, all your paraverbal. And I think we are walking to this issue, and I think it's not too far. It's a matter of time.
Yeah.
And
because the technology is there, just has to become cheaper. That's the main thing that the
absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. It's more, well, if I tell you 5 years ago that we in Latin America, in Argentina, in a developing country, will be able to launch a program we will cost exactly like Zoom plus a lot of mediation features, this was a joke. Today it's possible because there are a lot of free elements that you can get from the web in order to organize your puzzle, to create a business as from this puzzle, okay, with a lot of resources. Today is like a money trade issue, okay? Some people is trading money, other people is trading software and obtaining new possibilities, just having the possibility to put together different softwares. That's more or less the idea.
But I'm still going back to that internet connectivity. Have you looked at the situation in terms of the satellite connectivity that Elon Musk is trying to put together? Have you seen?
Yeah, that's
the
why we are going through. I'm sure that will be a situation of 2, 3.
I feel, I think it's not too far away that you can actually give access to remote places. But only thing is that's why I was wanting to go through your slides in terms of your community one that you've done. I'm saying that the parties could be in one place, one computer, and the mediator could be anywhere in the world. So of course I'll talk to you about that.
I didn't show you, Vikram. We have cyber mediators registration book. We have all the mediators who have been trained under our programs are included for free in a book where they have their qualification, their expertise, the language, because one issue is train mediators and try to get money out of the training services, okay, which is a lot of people in the world together, all together are trying to sell training courses to other mediators. It's an issue that it's an endogamic issue, okay? Everybody's trying. I'm trying to sell to you, you're trying to sell to me, and we need money from the public, not from the mediators.
Exactly.
And I think it's an ethical responsibility. Develop the field of the mediation. Give the mediator, because the mediators have been trained in, okay, William Uri, okay, if you read, getting yes, okay, the no, path to the peace, etc., all the books that are floating around, difficult conversation, etc., etc., but nobody's teaching marketing for mediators. And mediators, as any other profession, as lawyers, they need marketing in order to offer their services to the whole world. Because in fact, Vikram, finally, we are talking about money.
Yes.
How mediators will be able to make money out of their activity. Because in a lot of places in the world, it's just a hobby, the mediation. Okay? You are a lawyer and you have your cases, you're litigant, but you love mediation. Okay, you do mediation, but you always cry, I never could, I'm not able to live out of the mediation because it's not enough money. And the other issue, everybody trained in mediation want to work for the government. There are no place in the government for all the mediator training. And the other, very, from my point of view, I'm not a lawyer. And everybody think that I'm a lawyer, because I don't think that only one profession is the owner of the peace in the world and in the society. And now we are talking about interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary teams. For example, I was invited by the government of Singapore to attend the signing ceremony of the Singapore Mediation Convention. Nobody's talking about the Mediation Convention and pushing the Mediation Convention in the local governments in order to allow mediator to have other field, which is mediate online, cross-border for enterprise cases, which is a lot of money. The money is not out of the Mary and John divorce. Well, only if Jeff Bezos, if you are the mediator of Jeff Bezos divorce. But talking about in general, no, there are no money there. There are money where? In enterprises, in the private sector, where the company they want to go to, and everybody's trying to want to be trained in family issues. No, the money is not there. The money is company issues, organizational issues. But the problem is the director of the company should be trained, should be evangelized in order to understand which is better to go to a mediation before to go to a trial.
Imagine, Alberto, you're saying this. There is one particular legal head of he's a very large company now. He's a legal head of about a $7 billion company. I've actually put out a post today only. I'm having a session with him. He's like an evangelist for mediation. After I did a mediation with him, he's sold out on mediation. So I'm doing a session with him, interaction with the senior leadership of organizations to come in and listen to him, his experience with mediation, and how he's going to look at it. So just for the senior leadership, of course, if the point goes to them, definitely it'll go into the organization, and it has to just be used once, is all I keep saying. Just try it out. That's what I keep telling them. So that session is coming up.
The last subject that I teach in our conflict resolution and mediation degree, the name is System Design for Conflict Resolution. Okay. Why? Because we have to teach mediators in order to work and self-prevention actions. Because when you talk about the mediation, it's because someone already has the conflict and you have to mediate. No, what we have to sell is prevention activity in order not to get to the conflict. And this is very important for companies, very important for organizations, prevent the conflict and get a diagnosis where this organization, in which areas has their conflict, which provoke a bad situation in their profit and loss figures.
Which is exactly that's exactly what I've done. I've actually practiced my mediation as that I don't know, on my profile also, LinkedIn also, I write that one is prevention. I even talk about preemption. You preempt, because look, thing is that the fact of getting into an organization, all those conversations that you have, there is so much that you pick up that you can actually help in preempting disputes. So there is a lot of work for, I'm telling you, a lot of work for mediators. There is so much work for mediators. And like you said, everyone is just out there doing training for people. That's it. It's just all that you hear is training.
And well, I understand it's a natural issue, because basically with mediation in Argentina, in the first 20 years, the only mediators who make money were the professors and teachers in mediation. And also, with the bad issue, they were training people which is not allowed to mediate, because here in some provinces, only the lawyers mediate. Then if you train a nurse or a CPA, and he gets your course, you tell him that it will be fantastic if he will be the peace among the world. But when he goes to the court, he say, okay, I'm a mediator, I don't know, 200 hours in training, 100 no, you are not allowed because the law. It's there are a lot of ethical issues around this.
But I think, first of all, I think people are creating a lot of barriers in terms of mediation. That's why I want to talk to you about legislation, looking at online mediation developing. How do you look at legislation developing for that? What have you
Well,
looked
the
at?
pandemia was a shock for the politician and the judges, and today we are able to. For example, in Argentina we have 24 provinces. Each province has or has not their mediation law. It's not compulsory to have a mediation law, but most of them create protocols from online mediation. You don't have any problem to mediate online today here. Basically, because also the practitioners, when they are used to do a home office or homework, okay, they don't want to walk out, get into the car, and go to perform a mediation. They prefer be at home with the computer. We are running online mediation in our country without any problem. For example, last year, one day I received a phone call from the Minister of Justice of the biggest provinces in our country. They have 3,000 mediators. And the minister said, Alberto, we have to train in 1 month 3,000 mediators with the online tools. Well, the first group was 1,700 in 17 virtual classrooms of 100 students each one. Mm-hmm. And they jumped, I call it the narrow door. Everybody knows that there is technology available, but all of a sudden, in order to survive and eat every day, all were decided to run through this narrow door, and there are no room for all together at the same time. Okay? The ones who realize that they are wetting their tools, they have the possibility to be the first in the market. Today we have a balance, more or less. Everybody understands what is a Zoom, etc., etc. Now, let's say 3 years ago, if I start a class, I'll say, do you know what is ODR? Nobody knows. Today, if I said, what is ODR? Do you know ODR? Everybody said, online dispute resolution. And what is the meaning? No, I don't know. But I think, Vikram, that we are going in a direction where we are looking for something called the digital peace. I think that the digital peace of peace technology will be the big umbrella where we will have the ODR under this umbrella, but just as a part. We have to, of course, with the war in Ukraine, it's a little bit stupid talk about the digital peace, but I think we have keeping and continue working in the way that the people could solve their problems just sitting in a table or online and not going to the courts. No? That's why we stopped talking here about alternative dispute resolution method, and we are talking about adequate dispute resolution method. Start to saying that the tribunal is the alternative. Alternative of what? Alternative of the people solve together, talking, or through a mediator, their problems.
Yep. But I'm still wanting you to address the legislation aspect of it. Why I'm saying so is because with a global pool of mediators developing and parties choose their own mediators, I mean, why do we need to restrict their choice? So in that kind of a scenario, what kind of legislation do you think countries should put in place?
Your question, I think today we more or less have to talk about a private, international private contract. That's basically the way to handle this. With the Mediation Convention of Singapore, you have more than, I don't remember exactly, but about 55 countries, 52, 55 countries, able to present in the local courts an international mediation agreement for enterprise cases. The solution for this, sorry.
Right now, only 55 has signed it, 10 have ratified it. So right now, only on those 10 countries, you can enforce the settlement agreements there. But okay, that process is happening. It will take its time.
No, it will happen. But what I'm saying is the solution is only one that I'm sure no lawyer in the world will willing to accept. We need an internet law. All issues that could be solved through internet need a complete different view of the way that should be solved, let's say, the address issue. Today, justice in general and legislation still thinking about where do you live in order to run your case. And I think, I'm sure, of course, it's a dream. The solution should be a third-party international organization which regulate conflict handled by internet. No internet conflict. No, I'm not talking about internet conflict. I'm talking about conflict handled, managed, mediated through internet. How you will, and this is very complicated, but I'm sure in 10 years, in 15, in 20 years, we will have an internet law.
But for a moment, Alberto, let's look at it this way. Let us say that let's remove the state, the governments, let's remove them for a moment. Dispute resolution of parties wanting to resolve a dispute within themselves without all this aspect of a government at all. Let's just look at that. Now, two parties choose someone as the mediator. Anyone they want to choose, because that you cannot take away their right to choose someone, which they will do in any case, whatever. So you have to give them that full choice to choose whom they want. After that, once they have entered into a settlement agreement, why do you want to in any way, like in the Singapore Convention also, they are not saying that you have to have signed that agreement in a state which has ratified it or has signed the convention also. You can go and take that settlement to any of the states or any of the countries which have ratified it and get it enforced there. Similarly, it should be for all settlement agreements. Why regulate? I'm just trying to get into this aspect that I think there is some, again, does it come from colonization, that the state should be involved in dispute resolution, or the judiciary should be involved in dispute resolution. Like you said, there is this thing that lawyers have to be involved in dispute resolution. Let's remove all that. Let it be. Yeah.
A few years ago, I present some idea in a labor congress regarding conflict between workers living in one country, hired by a company placed in another country. We will have here in Argentina a company in Spain, hire a lot of online workers in Argentina. After interview, etc., they never pay, I don't know, $1,000, a very low amount. And there are no way to solve this issue, because a worker in Argentina with a debt of $1,000 to a company in Spain, what he can do? Nothing. I started working with the idea of the neutral third-party distinguished group. For example, if a third party, it's an organization out of the local legislation where the company who wants to hire employees in other countries present their credential and it's evaluated and accepted that the conflict belonging to this working relationship will be solved in this third-party neutral, okay? As a promissory note, cláusula compromisoria. In Spanish, we said cláusula compromisoria. It's compromise clause, who said that the first step is a mediation. The second step and arbitration, or a combined clause of MED-AR, mediation first, it's not working, arbitration second. You have all the companies go to this third-party neutral who accept that you are a good person, you pay your obligation, etc., etc. And you have the workers that before being hired accept this, let's say, in Spanish, we call the blue band of they said that you're a good company, that you fulfill with all the requirements. In this idea, we can create a network of companies living in the web, validating the credential of the companies with offered jobs position and the workers going through this in order to get their job. That's a crazy idea that I have. But I think this is the problem. If you say, okay, but you have to execute this agreement, where you will go to execute this cloud agreement? Well, it's a question you don't have any answer yet, full. And we start working about that. We try to recover the value of the work. If I said I will pay, I will pay, but this is not enough. We have to continue pushing this.
No, but tell me, Alberto, today, like I told you, the Singapore Convention, the framework that it puts is that kind of a situation that the agreement can be signed anywhere. The parties could have undergone the mediation anywhere in the world. Once that settlement agreement comes into place.
No. Today, the agreement only could be, let's say, only could be enforced among countries, not only signed, that they already have enforced.
Exactly.
Because,
what I'm saying, Alberto, what I'm saying is that the countries where it is ratified, you can enforce it. Yeah. I'm saying, okay, today there are 9, 10, where they'll reach larger numbers if they do. But that's a framework for the cross-border. That's a cross-border situation. I'm saying even if there are parties, say in Argentina, forget international, just in Argentina.
In Argentina, we don't have any problem. We can enforce it.
No, but I'm saying that the fact that the mediator can be anywhere in the world, countries should not.
Anywhere in the world, and the 2 parties in Argentina.
Exactly. So that part of it, I think, why do we need to legislate this aspect? It's their dispute. They choose their mediator. Wherever it happens, how it happens,
well,
is it?
Vikram, we have 2 situations. That's why, for example, in Argentina, in the nation, it's complicated. We have a national law only apply in Buenos Aires City. It's complicated. But you, as mediator, in order to work under this legislation, should be registered in the Minister of Justice nominee.
But this is only for the court system or for private mediation also?
No, only for the enforced system.
Yeah, so I'm saying just remove that. I'm saying let's just remove the court system because I'm not interested in it. I am just saying that is something which is going on. One day people will realize that is not good for mediation or mediators. Maybe they'll finish it off there.
I don't see any problem. I think that in this stage, you have to work. My idea when I created this cyber registry of mediators worldwide was working in a co-mediation. The abroad mediation should find first a local mediator in order to be organizing a team to helping the parties inside Argentina. Because I think it's a good idea to work with the team, we call it in Spanish, dupla, of 2 mediators. The one abroad, suppose, has expertise in petroleum, and the other one who is here. That's why they could work together and facilitate the issues in the country.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. I mean, the co-mediation is definitely a good thing. But I'm trying to reach a point where I'm trying to say that, do we need to legislate mediation? That's my question. forget, I'm not interested in the
No,
court
no,
system.
my position is not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. For example, I teach in a master of bankruptcy students which are CPAs, we studied bankruptcy issues. And they asked me to teach introduction to conflict resolution in order to give the graduates an idea what they could handle in negotiation and mediation. Okay? And we call it here private session in order to talk with the vendors in order to try to prevent the bankruptcy. We don't have here chapter 11, but anyway, more or less the idea. And I think my idea is mediation should be private all over the world, always. And only the community issues belong to the government. But I'm sure this is impossible.
No, I mean, it has to be. I think that's the only way that we have to be able to explain to people that it is something that you take in your control. But again, this whole colonization mindset that the state has to be involved in dispute resolution, or the courts have to be involved in dispute resolution, or lawyers have to be involved in dispute resolution, has to be. Look, I'm telling you, it's going to take time, but we will condition people slowly.
Let me give an example in consumer issues. It was a platform created for a friend of mine, Zbigniew Loewy from Czech Republic. The name was Justice. It was a platform, it will be long to explain, but just for private consumer disputes. Private consumer disputes. For example, today in Argentina, the power in order to solve consumer dispute is kept by the government. If I buy this computer and I have a problem with my vendor, I have to go to a public office in order to request some solution. Then what happened with the internet? If you are selling a lot of computers and you have 2% of cases, if you are selling 100 computers, 2% of, but if you sell through internet 1 million computers, is the 2% of 1 million computers. And the government still having the same amount of offices and consumer solvers, let's see. And it's absolutely illogical that the government has to take care of private selling internet issues conflict with the money of the taxpayers.
Exactly.
Because your success in selling through internet is going to the government. And the government, nothing have to do with that. That's why in 2015, the European Union make a very poor recommendation regarding if you are selling through internet, you have to tell the customer that there are possibility to solve this issue online. Justice was a private platform where you could negotiate or get a neutral decision in an ecosystem private, which allows you, if you are not happy with the result of this decision, you could go to the government. But I'm sure that the government, what they have to do is to move the decision of all those issues to the private sector. And of course, when we try to put this system in force, 80% of the cases were resolved. And you reduce the amount of cases to go to the government and to the offices. Because if you are selling through internet, you have the responsibility to pay from your profits to solve the complaints that you generate.
Exactly.
Not the government.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that is what the thing is, that slowly, slowly people have to understand that the government and the judiciary can't get involved in all these all your private disputes. I'm saying you've just spoken about the online ones. A lot of other private disputes, why should the taxpayer be paying for that infrastructure and everything? You are not paying the other person, but that taxpayer is paying for your for infrastructure for doing that. I think that's something that's the whole
We
debate
can
basically.
talk, I always talk about brick and mortar establishment, okay? Could be a brick and mortar issue, not only for online purchases, could be only on face-to-face purchase.
But what I wanted to show you, I was telling you that this post that I put out. So like you said, there's so much work in the corporate world. This is what I put out. This is he's a group general counsel for the Landmark Group. It's a very big group in terms of hospitality and retail business. So I'm having a session with him for senior management, just telling them that this is something that he's used it. When you use the word evangelist, he's the person who came to my mind, because he himself says that. He says, I'm your evangelist. He uses that word. That is how much a person can be sold on mediation if they use it. So so Alberto, what else have you, is there anything that you
no, basically I'm saying now I'm going to Europe because I have several conferences on site.
Very good, very good.
uh,
It should
we
not
are
happen,
going,
Alberto. You should not do that. You are an
I'm
online
going,
person. You should stay an online person. All conferences
no,
also
no,
online.
I'm going to Spain because we have the International Forum for Professional Mediators in Sevilla at the Loyola Andalusia University. And I train the whole group of the labor mediator in Spain in order to become online mediators. And they invite me also to provide a conference in Sevilla first week of April. And after that, I will try to rest a little bit because we have been working a lot. We have several, we run with my team several courses in different universities. We have 4 universities where we work here, and we have a lot of issues to cope with. That's basically.
On this, I'm saying on that aspect that you said that you asked that 15-minute video presentation that you had, and I did not reply to that. Actually, what happened was, because I don't do visibility, I can't talk to myself on the camera. So I said that recording something won't happen. I called up Rafael Lobo, but he was busy that day, to tell him that, look, Alberto has written this message.
I think, Vikram, you are doing a terrific job. I do something like you're doing now 15 years ago, trying to convince people that I wasn't crazy. And I clearly understand the effort, which means try to get people, start talking, generate a network. But of course, you are building at the same time your digital reputation, which is excellent. And you have the benefits that you're living in an English-speaking world, which allows you to have much more participants in your network. But that's why I think it's important. Just send me some words in English about the vision of the mediation.
I've tried a
we
number
will translate.
No, a number of times I've tried to speak to myself on a video recording. I just can't do it. I just need someone to talk
to. Okay. But just 5 minutes. They asking me for today. I'm with you, based in India. In an hour, I have to talk to Mexico. Yesterday, I give a lecture for Spain in the morning and for Ecuador at night. And in the past, I flew to those places, which was better for me. Today, I have to be just watching the street, sitting here, and my dog is barking, which is not funny for me. But even though I didn't make money for those travels, at least I get paid my air ticket. Today, nobody paid my internet connection. But what I'm saying is,
but
it's important that all the evangelizers, you are an evangelizer, okay? You already are an evangelizer, and we have to work together. Perhaps we have to create an evangelizer group per zone, per continent, and try to push, because the energy that you have today, I have it 10 years ago. I don't have
you
to
still have,
deliver.
Alberto, you still have the energy. I can see that. That energy is there.
No,
Everything is
I
there.
prefer now to go and play golf. I'm
You know,
sitting here, and I would love to be playing golf at this time. But I'm happy to talk
I
with you.
played mine. I played mine in the morning, so I'm happy. So,
Okay.
so I have to balance it out. But I think, Alberto, my only thing, like, let me tell you, my focus. Of course, the mediation world and having these conversations is going to happen. But really, what I want to do is now on two ends. One, like I'm doing this, getting this whole information to the user. So I'm looking obviously large corporates because that's the work I do. I do commercial work on that end. But on the other end, I want to. I've been talking about this, and you will tell me how we can do it at scale. I want to identify those people who are in villages, in communities, even children in school who already have that ability, natural ability, they're already doing it. Identify them, take them on a platform. That is why I said legislation and all. I don't want all that legislation there because these people have everything going for them. We don't need to train them. They themselves have the skill. We can do skill development as we go along. I mean, that's not a problem. That's a lot of those things can be done. But that I want that platform to be created. So what views do you have on that?
My wife, that's a problem when you have to mention your wife, it's a problem. But to make a long story short, my wife started learning mediation in Colombia and the international BID, okay, the International Bank of the International Development Bank. The International Development Bank decided to place money in different countries in order to create mediation programs. And at that time, he was invited to facilitate a conflict among people living in some mountains for a conflict because a company and I don't know the word in English, with artificial explosion, pyrotechnia, fireworks. I'm sorry, fireworks. The people occupating some lands manufacture illegal fireworks. Mm-hmm. And it was a company together nearby who was the owner of the lands and needs the lands in order to expand their factory. And they work with well-known neighborhoods or social leaders without any mediation training in order to facilitate that they will be trained with the skills to work in the factory and get an agreement in order to buy part of the land to build their houses. Mm-hmm. And they were using community leaders without any mediation knowledge, any previous mediation knowledge. I'm sure that it's a good idea to work with people who usually build pits in schools, in communities, but it's necessary to facilitate to them the mediation glossary. Okay? Why? Because if not, even though if you speak the same language, two persons understand different issues if you don't build up a common glossary. That's my...
Because how I was looking at Alberto was that in the numbers that we need are really large in around the world in terms of what I had earlier thought was that I put together 1,000 people who have that enthusiasm and passion, and they within themselves bring 1,000 people under them It's it's their thing. I'm not saying I'm creating the platform. They can do it themselves. So if 1,000 reach 1,000, 1,000,000 of those people are out there whom each of that mediator can take care of in terms of skill development on general whatever they have things they need to
Well,
discuss.
we call this, and what someone needs in this is to create a first stage of followers.
Yeah.
Okay. We get a lot of things with local authorities because I represent a lot of mediators. Not because they give me the representation specifically. If not because under the name of ODR Latin America, I have a lot of mediators who I could access, I could get information, I could promote. That thing, it's you know, the Tupperware, the
Yeah,
pyramid,
exactly. Multi-level marketing. That's exactly.
multi-level marketing. Yeah.
But I tell you the problem that
I never thought in this, but I think it's an excellent idea, Vikram.
but the thing that I'm seeing is that because mediators are, of course, doing lots of other things, so to tell them to focus on this and create that network, I just think there is something missing there. So what I feel is that we'll have to create that with a platform where we reach out to.
Okay, I will help you with the Spanish speaking network.
Yeah. Because I tell you, what I've been able to understand is that we need to involve teachers in it. School teachers will be people because they have time in
Well,
the evening.
You are right, because in our degree in conflict resolution and mediation, 60% of our students are teachers, school teachers.
Okay, so there is something there. Because I just
no, if they are interested, because they live day to day with the conflict with the kids. We have bullying, cyberbullying. You have a lot of situations. When they study in order to become a teachers, they are not trained in conflict resolution.
Because I want to create two paths. One is the peacemakers and one is mediators. So I want these teachers actually to work as peacemakers, because one, of course, they're dealing with children and we need to get the children in. But in society also, they're respected. School teachers are still respected. I mean, at least in this part of the world.
No. Everywhere, even though the training, it's not good as it was in the past, they are respected.
Yeah. So if we can, they will be the ones who will take the message of mediation into the community and the schools. I am just asking them to just ask this basic question. Who is it that if there is a fight, they'll ask the children, if there is a fight, who is that child whom you would go to, or is someone who helps you resolve a dispute? Just ask the children that question. I'm just asking this teacher to do that.
We have a program here in several schools. The name is peer mediators. They will train the students in order to become student mediators.
Yeah. But I'm saying reverse. I'm saying the reverse.
No. I'm just sharing with you that we have some programs where we train the students in order to mediate in the primary school.
Because I'm just saying that cut out this training part for the time being. Let's put the training aside. I'm saying that the people who have that ability and the user has actually tested them out. The user trusts them. Why not pick those people out, get them into whatever platform is to be created, a local one or a global one or a national one. We can talk about that, how that platform has to work. But the people on that platform as mediators have to be people who are already trusted by people, because it's like a test done. I mean, you will do a training and you will see whether the person has understood something. I am saying the person already understands everything and the certificate has been given by the user. There can be no better certificate than by the user. So for the time being, let's just take this training out for the picture. Just identify these people.
Well, it was somebody launched, I don't know if still working, a platform in Canada with this idea of validate mediation skills by the user and generate like a Michelin star program with the stars about how was the mediator activity, etc., etc. But here, when I propose to a group of mediators, then nobody wants to be validated by the user. Okay.
No, I'm saying at the first level, to put them on the platform, only those people whom people already trust. The first level, just get those people out. Now, there's no other rating required. Just get those people into the fold. And I'm saying that let's tell the teachers to go out into schools and in communities and ask this question. Now put them onto a platform. So you should be able to search in every village in the world. Who is that person with the mediator mindset? I say mediator mindset. I don't even have to use the word mediator because I'm saying mediator mindset is all I need. So you should be able to search anywhere by pin code or by the state or the village, whatever. These are the people identified. We'll put a little clip of theirs, little video, maybe 1 minute or whatever, so that because people have to relate to the person, let them connect directly with that person. Nothing else required. And these peacemakers whom I'm saying, putting together peacemakers, these are people who will facilitate the process. One, they will go out and talk about mediation because that is required. Yes. Then talking to a disputing party, reaching out to the other party by itself is a major task. So they can do that process. Then identifying the mediator in that community and putting the whole process together. Let these people do that, because I still believe that they still have a role in the online world. Yes, we will be able to connect everyone, but someone has to coordinate the process.
Absolutely.
So these people can be used for that. So this is where
to coordinate is a tremendous effort.
Exactly.
So
That's
nobody
a major.
pays attention at the effort to coordinate.
Yeah. So if we can do that kind of thing, so create that kind of a platform. So now you have to go for your next meeting, I'm sure. And you must be getting late for the next one. As I can understand from your face, you are getting late. Is it or not?
No, I have to jump in.
Yeah, exactly.
No. I have to jump into my conference to Mexico.
In how much time? In how much time?
No, I have 2 minutes to close.
Okay. So what we'll do is today, you can give your concluding remarks for today. It's not your concluding remarks for online mediation and Vision 2026. We'll have another session later.
No, but perhaps with what we can do when I return from Europe, we can have a session where I show different softwares.
Yeah, but also at the same time, you will think about this platform that I feel that needs to be created.
A ver, in Spanish, we said, we would like to go supporting crazy ideas, okay? I'm going to tell you one short story to talk about this. I was working in an American company in Argentina, year 1979. The general managers came to me and said, Alberto, please, I have a friend here who's bringing us a new technology. Could you please talk to him and evaluate if we have to buy it? And the guy came in my office and put over my desk a fax machine. And he said, do you know what is this? No, it's a fax machine. And what for? Well, easy. You put the paper here, go through the telephone line, and somebody will receive the paper in US. What do you think about it? At that time, we were using
the telex or something.
Telex. So thank you very much. A telex machine. What do you think? I don't think that no one would be happy, will fall in love because it's a paper here. Of course, after this conversation, we bought some fax machines for the company. The company was at that time American Express. I was controller for American Express in South America. And the funny thing is, today, the fax was born, get their climax, and disappear. And this is the called adoption cycle technology life.
Yep.
All of issues that we are working today, your platform, your idea, will be happen because we have a collective thinking in the world. Somebody sure is thinking exactly something like you are thinking now, but late, it's early now.
Like you were
Okay,
early.
being late, it's early because you have for your idea, crazy or not, less time in order to generate it and put it in action, because at the same time, in other three people are thinking exactly the same. I'm not saying in your idea, but in the way that the human being is walking.
Well, about Alberto, I want people to come together and work together. If they have similar ideas, they should come collaborate and do something good on a global level. So that's the kind of thing.
Perhaps what you have to do is it's a thinking group, because the problem to handle huge amount of people is the amount of conflict and the keep and to keep let's say the people working together. It's difficult.
No, I'll tell you, Alberto, the whole methodology that I've been able to come out with, it is working for me only because I'm not creating a group. I am talking to individuals and those ideas. Of course, someone else is picking up. They might be able to do something about it, but at least it's not like creating an organization and a bureaucracy or anything like that. So we'll work the same way. Everyone is individuals, but at the same time, thinking together on things, and which is where I come in to be that common factor to get people together.
I think it's a good idea, Vikram.
So, okay.
Well,
So your final
I
concluding thing.
appreciate the opportunity. It's a pleasure to talk with you. We both are with a lot of activities and complicated. We push a lot your action, and I would like, in my name and all the Latin America, congratulate you for the effort, because the world belongs to crazy people, and I think you and me both are crazy. Give my regards to your family.
Thank you.
All my friends in India, that I have a lot of friends in India. It's a country that I love a lot.
Thank you, Alberto. Thank you. Very nice. And next time we also have to have a conversation with your wife. If she's done so much work in terms of dispute resolution.
The problem is that she's my boss. That I'm happy
with that. Okay. So see you then. Thank you very much, Alberto. Thank you very much. I'll see you then. Bye-bye. I'll just put out this. All this has already happened in March. This is part of the Mediation Vision 2026. So heart, soul, and spirituality is one of the topics there. Then diversity, equity, and inclusion is one. So had a discussion on women and mediation as part of the International Women's Day. We had almost 25 women from about 15 countries. So that was interesting to get their thoughts. But now I'm doing that separately with their individual thoughts. I'll go through that. So this is another one: mediators, mediation, and global problem solving. So this was with Ken, in the background of the Ukraine-Russia situation. Then Anna was on Saturday. This is in conversation with the beautiful mind. These are people with a mediator mindset, all parts of the world. They don't have to be mediators. They just have to have that mediator mindset. Although Anna is a very well-known mediator. Then philosophy is another topic we need to discuss. So this is Socrates and mediation, which is tomorrow. Then, of course, we had Alberto today. Then from Kyrgyzstan, Begum is on Saturday. And again, part of the diversity, equity, and inclusion. Sarah was part of the women and mediation discussion. Now individually, because obviously there wasn't enough time for everyone. So then Mahatma Gandhi and mediation under the heart, soul, and spirituality. This is forum number 3. We had forum number 1 was Mahatma Gandhi and mediation. This is part 2 of that. So this should be interesting. Then again, Andrea was part of that discussion with women and mediation. Now just her thoughts. Then Bunimir, this is part 3. We've had 2 episodes discussing his family, upbringing, his parents growing up. So he hasn't been born on the show up till now, which he would be in this episode. Then this is, I mean, talking books is a show where I do that because some of us don't read them, and I'm one of them. So Jerry will take us through a book, and there will be kind of a workshop where there'll be some questions and everything that she has in mind. So we'll do that. Then last day of the month, celebrating mediators, birthdays of mediators in that month. And then symposium number 2 in April. Topic is heart, soul, spirituality, and mediation. So if you want to be a speaker there, just get in touch with me. So thank you.